Okay, so for this afternoon, we will discuss about cost, volume, profit analysis. Okay, now the first component here is cost. Now, when you speak of cost, there are actually different types of costs. Now, for CVP analysis, we will tackle three types of costs. Number one, we have what we call the variable cost. Okay, then second one, we have the fixed cost. And then the third one, we have the mixed cost. Okay, yeah. So what is the difference between the variable, the fixed, and the mix? Okay, variable costs are costs that are actually constant on a per unit basis. Okay, on a per unit, when you produce the item, they are constant, same in terms of amount, okay, on a per unit basis. But as you increase your production, variable costs will also increase. So there's a direct proportion or the direct relationship between the variable cost total and the production or output. Now, the fixed cost is a cost that is fixed in terms of total. So this is constant in terms of total amount. Okay. Now, however, on a per unit basis, fixed cost would change. So if, say, for example, you have produced more, then the fixed cost would be lesser in terms of per unit. Okay. If you produce less, then the fixed cost would be more in terms of per unit of measure. Okay. Now, mixed cost is one that has both a variable and fixed cost component. Okay, so probably you would be wondering, what do we do with the mixed cost? Okay, so for the mixed cost, we have to split the mixed cost, okay, into its variable and fixed component. Okay, and how do we do that? Now, there are three ways on how we do the splitting of the mixed cost. Okay, now number one, we have the very simple high-low point. And this is what we're going to use this afternoon. Second one, we have the scatter graph method. And then the third one, we have the least square method. Okay, so these are the three ways on how you split your mixed cost into its variable and fixed component. But again, we will be using only the high-low point. Now, before we go any further, let us first try to show graphically the different types, the variable and the fixed cost components. So if we try to draw a line or a graph, okay, so this is your graph. So this is at point 0, and this will be the amount, and this will be the quantity. Okay, so as we said earlier, when you speak of fixed cost is constant on a per total basis, meaning it doesn't matter how much or how many you produce, as long as it is within the company's relevant range, then fixed cost would always be fixed in terms of total. So going here into the graph, so if, say, for example, this is the amount determined to be the fixed cost, so as you increase, even if the company increases the quantity of production, the fixed cost would remain the same. So this is your fixed cost. Okay, now variable cost, on the other hand, okay, would be constant per unit, but as you increase the volume of production, your variable cost also increases. So at zero production, variable cost is also zero. Okay, so as you increase the number of production or the units of production, your variable cost would also increase. So this is your variable cost line. Okay, so this area actually is your cost area. Okay, so there you go. That is how we will represent the fixed and the variable cost component. Okay, now let us now go to the mixed cost. Now, mixed cost, as I said earlier, has the variable and fixed cost component. So how do we split now the mixed cost using the high-low point? Now, I have here an example to illustrate how we split a mixed cost. Okay, so let us have this example. So you're given there the different months and the output of a certain company with the cost. Okay, and for the month of January, that's 115, and so on and so forth. Okay, so under the high-low point, what we will do is we will get the highest point and the lowest point and take out the difference. Okay, now if you would look at the output, the highest point is 125. That's for the month of June. So that's 125, and the cost is 5,550. You are after the output, okay? And then the lowest is 70. So 70, and the cost there is 3,750, okay? So we get the difference. So we go back to the drawing table. So here's the highest and the lowest points, okay? So you get the difference. So that's 125 minus 70. That would be 55. And in terms of amount, that's 5,550 less 3,750. That would be 1,800. Okay? So the variable cost is actually getting the difference between the quantity, getting the quotient of the quantity against the difference in amount and the quantity. Remember, this is the peso amounts. Okay, so that is 1,800 divided by 55. Okay, so that's 1,800 divided by 55. That's 32.72. 0.73. Okay, so this is the variable cost per unit. Now, so we have the variable cost per unit. Now remember that the total cost is actually equal to the variable cost per unit multiplied by the quantity, okay, plus the fixed cost. So this is your total cost equation. Now using this total cost equation, we can substitute. So therefore, total cost, we can use either the highest or the lowest point. If we use the highest point is 5,550. So that's 5,550 is equal to, okay, so the variable cost is 32.73 multiplied by the quantity of production, which is 125, okay, plus the fixed cost. So the fixed cost is the one that is unknown at this time. So therefore, we will compute now. So that's 32.73 multiplied by 125. So that is 4,091.25. Okay, plus the fixed cost. Okay, so we will transpose this 4,000. We will transpose to the left. Sorry. So therefore, what we will have is that's 5,550 minus 4,091, and the answer is 1,458.75. So this is now your fixed cost. Okay, we can also use the lowest point, not to compute for the fixed cost, and we should arrive at the same amount. So using the lowest point, so the quantity is 70 multiplied by, again, 32.73 plus the fixed cost is equal to, okay, the lowest is 3,750. So that is your equation. Okay, so therefore we compute 70 times 32.73. So this is 2,291.10 plus the fixed cost is equal to 3,750. Again, by transposition, we will have less 3,750, same 1,458. Okay, there's a little difference, but again, that is essentially the same. So 1,458. So that is splitting the mixed cost using the high-low point. Okay, so again, we will continue the discussion because I have to end. It's already 9 minutes. I'm running 9 minutes. Okay, so I'll be back later for the continuation of our discussion. Thank you.